Esto, eso, aquello, estas. Well, it could be very confusing, right? In Spanish, these are called demonstrative adjectives, and they are today's topic. Hola, bienvenidos aquí Spanish. Soy Alejandro. This is one more lesson in our course for beginners. Make sure to check our playlist to see all of the previous lessons and also the future ones that we will be publishing in order. And let's get to it. In this Unit 3, remember our goal is to be able to buy some gifts for relatives, decide what gifts to buy, and for that we need to interact in shops, we need the vocabulary for shopping and products and places, and we need some grammar. When we are purchasing things in a shop, we use a lot of these demonstrative adjectives like este, ese, etc. In English, this would be these or that or those. And that's what we're going to cover today. And we are going to do it with Sergio and John, which again are now shopping for John's jacket. And they take advantage of the opportunity and also shop for other things. Sergio says, aquí tienes ropa fantástica y a buen precio. Here you have fantastic clothing and at a good price. So let's take a look at some situations. Again, we are following an inductive approach to grammar. If you are not familiar with that, check the introductory video of the course where we explain the methodology. And we, instead of presenting you with information straight away and a list of rules, we do together an activity and allow you to think for yourself which the rules could be. So let's take a look at what Sergio is saying. Sergio, looking at jacket, says, John, ¿cuál prefieres? ¿Esta o esta? And John is saying, prefiero la azul, la verde no es de mi estilo. What I want you to tell me is Sergio referring to something masculine or feminine? And is he referring to something singular or plural? And then, what is he actually referring to? Pause the video if you need to, but remember, actually do it. Don't just passively watch. Don't be lazy. No seas vago and participate with me. So what is it? No, this is something feminine and singular. Esta o esta. And it's referring to la chaqueta. La jacket. La chaqueta. Let's do the same with this other scenario. ¿Cuál es más bonito? ¿Este o este? John thinks prefiero el azul. El gris es un poco feo. So, masculine, feminine, singular, plural, and what is he referring to? Well, este o este is referring to something masculine, singular, and to a pantalón, pants, trousers. If you don't know the vocabulary for clothes, make sure to check the previous lesson on the course where we covered that too. One more. ¿Cuáles prefieres? ¿Estas o estas? Prefiero las que tienen descuento. John prefers the ones that are discounted on sale. Are referring to something feminine and plural, and to gafas, las gafas, glasses. Okay? And one more. ¿Cuáles son más elegantes? ¿Estos o estos? Prefiero los marrones, los azules son demasiado caros. Masculine, feminine. Well, estos would be masculine and plural, and we are referring to zapatos, los zapatos. So you see that we use these demonstratives to refer to an object that, well, we don't refer to directly. It could be also a pronoun. And, well, it's very common. So instead of saying los zapatos, we say estos. Let's now take a closer look, right? We use esta chaqueta, este pantalón, estas gafas, estos zapatos, for things that are in the same space as the person who is speaking. So in the scenario, is Sergio the one who has the shoes on him? So therefore, it's saying esto, este, esta. So the proximity is in reference to the person speaking. They are in his same space. Now, the gender, let's take a quick look. Although you already know probably, the singular masculine form of these demonstrative adjectives for the same space is este in singular. Careful, no, it's not esto. I know the general rule for the genders is masculine o, but in this case it's este. the feminine esta, plural estos, and masculine feminine plural estas. Este, esta, estos, estas. This is the first approximation to these demonstrative adjectives. Remember the forms and the use, the same space as the speaker. And now let's take a look at an older scenario that is a bit more tricky. Before that, if you're enjoying the video so far, please give it a like, dale a me gusta. Es gratis, it's free and it really helps and it motivates me to keep going. So come on, let's do it. So now let's look at this other scenario. Now Sergio is asking what does he have to buy for Teresa, his wife. ¿Qué compro para Teresa? ¿Esto o esto? And says John that el sombrero es más práctico. The hat is more practical. Now, why are we using esto in this case? We use the neuter form, esto, remember it's not the masculine is este, when we are referring to objects of different categories. So we're saying, okay, this or these, but they are not the same thing. If they were two hats, those sombreros, we would say este o este, but the sombrero and a necklace, there is esto o esto. We can also use esto when we don't know what something is. You are in a shop and you are confused, maybe you are buying groceries and there's a food that you are not familiar with. You say, what is this? And you say, ¿qué es esto? But you need to be careful with this use and not use it with people, right? When you say esto es un hombre or esto when referring to a person is very pejorative. Is what is this thing with this person that is a thing? So never use esto when referring to living things. Okay? Let's now practice. I'm going to show you two sentences. ¿Cuál compro, este o este? ¿En qué compro esto o esto? Which one is referring to dos cosas de diferente categoría and dos cosas de la misma categoría? Well, number one is dos cosas de la misma categoría, dos relojes, and therefore we use este. And number two is a cup and a pair of shoes, different things, and therefore we use esto. Okay? And now it's your time. Which would be the question to say, what do I buy, this or this, for the first picture? Pause the video if you need to think, but say it out loud. Okay? Practice with me. You would say, ¿qué compro? ¿Esto o esto? ¿Qué compro? What do I buy? ¿Qué compro? And the second scenario would be, ¿cuáles compro? ¿Estas o estas? So you can see that the change is not only in the demonstrative, but also in the question one. We use ¿cuáles for the second case, ¿qué for the first case. Okay? Now, this third picture, what would be the question we ask? ¿Cuál compro? ¿Esta o esta? Because it's la gorra. It's a feminine singular. So we use the feminine singular demonstrative, esta. And the last one, what would it be? It's the same. ¿Qué compro? Esto o esto. We have a belt and a wallet, el cinturón y la cartera, two different categories. So far, we have covered the first set of demonstrative adjectives for a situation where the thing is in the same space as the speaker. But now let's take a look at other demonstratives for other situations. John is saying, este vestido es muy barato, pero ese es perfecto para mi madre. So this dress is very affordable, but that one is perfect for my mom. Estas gafas son bonitas, pero no son mi estilo. Prefiero esas, son muy chulas. Look at the space here. These glasses are beautiful, but they are not my style. I would rather have those that are very cool. Son muy chulas. Chulas means cool in Spanish, fancy, or something you like. It's chulo. This is used mainly in Spain, not in Latin America, as I'm aware. One more. Esta camiseta no es de mi talla, es demasiado pequeña. Esa es de mi talla, es más grande. This t-shirt is not my size, it's too small. That one is my size, it's bigger. Es más grande. One more. Esos zapatos, los azules, son muy bonitos. Those shoes, the blue ones, are very nice. I'm sure you can see how we use these demonstratives for things that are a bit far away. They are in a different but nearby a space to the person speaking. It's important to not think of it as just close and far, because there are situations in which this concept won't help and will be confusing. You have to think it from the perspective of the speaker. And spaces is in the space of the speaker or in a different space. In that space is still close. Okay? So for that situation, we have ese, esas, esa, esos. The singular masculine form is ese, again, no eso. The feminine is esa, then in the plural, the masculine is esos, and the feminine, esas. And lastly, we're going to take a quick look at aquel, but very quick because honestly, it's not that common for locating things in space. So you have aquel masculine, aquella feminine, aquellos, aquellas. And again, we are talking about a different space from the speaker, but this time is farther away. So instead of those or that, it would be that, those, over there. So it's even farther away. You can see the example here with aquel sombrero. No este, no ese, but aquel. Just a quick note, you can also use the neuter form for eso when you don't know what something is or something has, or you have things of different categories. ¿Prefieres eso o eso? And with aquello, that works too. You can say, ¿qué prefieres, aquello o aquello? But again, aquello, not very common. For locating things in space, we mostly use eso when it's in a different space. So now let's take a quick recap, a quick look at all of the demonstratives we have covered in today's lesson. When it's in the same space as the speaker, este, okay? Este, esta, estos, estas, este sombrero. If it's a bit farther away, ese, esa, esos, esas, ese sombrero. And even farther away, in a different space from the speaker, then aquel sombrero, aquella, aquellos, and aquellas. I hope this wasn't too confusing. I know it is even for me in English. That one, those is tricky, it's confusing, and in Spanish, I imagine for you would be too. Este, ese, aquel, esto, eso, aquello. But I'm sure you can get a hang of it. And this is a difficult grammar topic and a good opportunity to recommend some resources regarding grammar. As part of our Spanish beginner kit that we offer for free as a perfect companion of this course and for people that are just starting out, we have resources. Remember, we have talked about in previous lessons, learning vocabulary with frequency list, cognate list, flashcard recommendations, also resources to get some input, audios, videos, and grammar resources. And two recommendations that I want to cover very quickly today are Spanish Dict Guides and the textbook New Reference Grammar of Modern Spanish. Spanish Dict Guides are fantastic. In this website, you can look, for example, search for demonstrative adjectives in Spanish, and you will have here some resources, both theory, este, esa, aquella, and you can also practice a bit with some quizzes. So it's a good resource to check for a very specific grammar point and very, very practical. Now, if you want to take things to the next level, it's a bit more nerdy and probably for most people not necessary, but if you really like grammar, this textbook is a fantastic reference. You can see it here. I have it on an electronic format, and the demonstrative adjectives, they are covered in great detail and from the perspective of an English speaker. So they make comparisons with English and they make very thorough explanations, but they are just explanations, okay? No activities. For that, they have a workbook that's separate. But in terms of theory, if you're into grammar, this reference book is really fantastic. You can download our beginner kit for this set of resources and the links to the sets of grammar, books, and Spanish Dict that we just mentioned. Everything is there. And this beginner kit is also completely free. You'll find the link in the description. I hope you found this lesson useful. And if you don't want to miss out on future ones for this course for beginners, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell. Soy Alejandro de Key Spanish y nos vemos en clase.